Alright, so you've signed up to dive headfirst into chaos, lasers, and an endless wave of glowing squid-like enemies, the Illuminate. In Helldivers 2, it's not just about surviving those suicide missions, it's about surviving in style. And while yes, statistically speaking, you'll probably end up KIA more often than not, that doesn't mean you've got to go down swinging with bargain bin weapons. No way! If you're dropping into enemy territory, you want the best gear possible strapped to your back and ready to unload. That's what separates the Helldivers who make it back from the ones who just add another name to the casualty report. Now the question is, what's actually worth packing when you're heading out against the Illuminate? Because let's be real, some of these guns shine under pressure while others, well, let's just say they look better left in the armory. In this video, we're breaking down the best builds to take into battle, setups that actually give you a fighting chance against the enemy's overwhelming firepower. Whether you like mowing down squads from range or getting up close with devastating bursts, we'll cover the loadouts that complement every playstyle. Let's dive in and get you kitted out for your next drop. I'm quickly moving on to the video. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching. The LAS-16. Sickle might just be one of the most forgiving weapons you can bring into a fight against the Illuminate. On the surface, it looks and feels like your standard assault rifle, but since it is energy-based, you never really have to worry about running out of bullets. As long as you manage the heat, you can keep firing, swap to another weapon while it cools, and then go right back to it. For new players especially, that basically means you will always have something reliable in your hands. Now, where the LAS-16 Sickle really shines is in how you build around it. Pairing it with the recoilless rifle gives you a clear way to handle tougher enemies without stressing over your primary ammo count. Because the Sickle takes the whole ammo conservation problem out of the equation, you can comfortably wear heavier, more defensive armor and lean into explosive secondaries or grenades for extra firepower. It frees up your entire kit to focus on damage and survival instead of scavenging for supply drops every few minutes. One important detail that often gets overlooked is the environment. Since this is a heat-based weapon, planets with hot climates will cause it to overheat faster, cutting into that unlimited ammo advantage. On the other hand, colder planets practically feel like the Sickle is running with an expanded magazine, since it takes longer to burn out. So when you are planning your best builds to battle the Illuminate, keep the temperature in mind. With the right setup, this weapon makes you feel like you are always ready for whatever comes your way. The ARC-12. Blitzer is one of those weapons that feels like it should not even exist. But here it is, turning the destructive power of a Tesla tower into your go-to shotgun. It blasts arcs of electricity that shred through groups of voteless infantry. And the best part is that you never have to reload. In the middle of a chaotic Illuminate mission, having that constant stream of lightning at your disposal is both terrifying for the enemy and oddly comforting for you. Of course, the Blitzer is not just about mowing down swarms. Its stun potential makes it incredibly valuable against tougher units like Overseers, giving you those crucial seconds to reposition or finish the job with another weapon. To round out the build, bringing along the Ultimatum as your secondary ensures you can still handle ships, while a support weapon like the heavy machine gun or machine gun keeps you covered when sustained fire is the better option. Adding arc-resistant armor into the mix also makes sense, since you are already dancing with lightning every time you pull the trigger. That said, the ARC-12 Blitzer comes with one huge warning label. It does not care who it hits. Friend or foe, if they are standing too close, they are getting fried. This means you have to be extra careful when firing in crowded fights, or you might end up stunning your own squad mates in the middle of a push. Used wisely though, this weapon is pure chaos in the best way possible, and it can easily become the centerpiece of one of the most fun builds to battle the Illuminate. The JAR 5 Dominator is one of those weapons that makes you feel like every shot really counts. Instead of spraying bullets, it delivers a two-stage round that explodes after piercing into its target. That extra punch makes it incredibly effective against armored enemies, which is why it shines so brightly when you are facing the Illuminate. Overseers in particular melt under its fire, and with some careful aim, even tripods can be brought down quickly. Where the Dominator struggles, though, is against fodder. Voteless infantry and the endless swarms from bots or bugs are not really its strong suit, since the weapon is built for precision and power rather than area clearing. To make up for that, you will want to pair it with a reliable full auto support weapon like the Stalwart or Machine Gun. These can chew through crowds while the Dominator stays ready for those bigger, scarier targets. Adding explosive secondaries to the mix also helps you cover the gap and maintain a flexible loadout. Another key consideration is ammo economy. The JAR-5 hits hard, but it is not something you can fire carelessly. Choosing armor and boosters that increase your ammunition efficiency will go a long way toward making this weapon viable over the course of longer missions. Think of the Dominator as your precision tool for cracking open the toughest opponents, while the rest of your loadout handles everything else. With that balance in mind, it becomes a powerful addition to your best builds to battle the Illuminate. The FLAM-66 Torture is one of those weapons that immediately changes the vibe of your loadout. Instead of committing your support slot to the flamethrower, this primary weapon gives you that same destructive firepower while leaving your support slot free for something else. It is basically the perfect way to get double the utility without sacrificing your ability to bring heavy hitters along. When it comes to the Illuminate, the Torture is a nightmare for voteless infantry. Sweep the flames across a group and watch them drop almost instantly. Even Overseers cannot stand up to a well-placed blast at close range. The downsides, though, are worth noting. It does very little against tripods and will not help you much when you are trying to take down the shields around ships. That means you will need the rest of your kit to cover those weaknesses. For the best results, pair the Torture with flame-resistant armor, because the last thing you want is to burn yourself while frying enemies. Then add in a secondary like the Senator Pistol to give you armor-piercing backup, and top it off with a heavy machine gun to deal with tripods. The only thing to keep in mind is the ignition delay. When you first start firing, there is a short warm-up before the flames really pour out. Once it is going, though, the Torture keeps burning, and it can absolutely melt through Illuminate swarms as part of your best builds. The BR-14 Adjudicator is one of those weapons that can feel frustrating at first glance. Its small magazine means that if you go full auto, your ammo disappears in seconds, and the recoil can make it tricky to keep your shots on target. Those drawbacks are enough to scare some players away, but if you are willing to work around them, the Adjudicator can be incredibly rewarding to use. What makes this rifle stand out is its armor-piercing rounds. Against the Illuminate, that means a single well-placed shot can drop a voteless instantly, and it can hold its own against tougher enemies when you keep your aim steady. In the right situation, it can honestly be one of the best primaries you can bring, especially if your stratagems help smooth over its weaknesses. Instead of relying on raw spray, the Adjudicator rewards a controlled, deliberate playstyle that really pays off when accuracy matters most. Because it is so ammo-hungry, your loadout has to be built with that in mind. The supply pack stratagem is a fantastic pick, ensuring you always have extra rounds when things get tight. Combining it with high ammo support weapons gives you flexibility, while explosive or laser-based secondaries help stretch your resources even further. Fortunately, many Illuminate maps have plenty of ammo boxes scattered around, so with some planning, you can keep the Adjudicator fed and make it a surprisingly strong choice for your best builds to battle the Illuminate. The SMG-37 Defender is a fantastic option if you are heading into a mission against the Illuminate and want the flexibility of a one-handed weapon. Unlike most primaries, it pairs beautifully with the directional or ballistic shield stratagems, giving you both offensive and defensive power at the same time. It is also one of the best picks when someone in your squad needs to carry an objective item like a black box, since you can still stay armed while completing the task. What makes the Defender stand out among submachine guns is its slower fire rate. That might sound like a downside, but it actually plays right into precision headshots against voteless, letting you conserve ammo while still being lethal. Its higher than average damage also makes it surprisingly effective against Overseers, and it even handles niche tasks like destroying the power sources of a cognitive disruptor with ease. It is not about spraying bullets, it is about landing the right shots at the right time. To get the most out of the Defender, you will want to pair it with strong supporting gear. Armor-piercing secondaries help you handle threats that the SMG struggles with, while high-damage support weapons such as the laser cannon or autocannon cover your bases against tougher Illuminate units. The only thing to be careful of is your backpack stratagem choice. If you bring a shield, your free hand is already occupied, meaning you cannot double up on objectives without losing efficiency. With the right planning though, the SMG-37 Defender can be one of the smartest additions to your best builds to battle the Illuminate. The SG-451 Cookout is one of those weapons that feels made for chaos. As a round reload shotgun, it gives you the ability to reload on the move, which makes it perfect for run-and-gun gameplay. Strafe past a wave of voteless, keep your shells topped off, and you will feel like you are always in motion. It might not be the strongest option against overseers, but when it comes to clearing out infantry, it is hard to beat the raw satisfaction of setting the battlefield ablaze. Where the Cookout struggles is against tougher Illuminate enemies. Overseers take a lot more effort to bring down with it, and against shields or tripods, you will basically be wasting your time. That said, the shotgun is not meant to be your all-purpose answer. It is your crowd control tool. To round out your loadout, you will want a reliable support weapon, like the machine gun for sustained fire, or the expendable anti-tank for high-damage bursts. These picks make sure you are never caught off guard when the Cookout reaches its limits. Armor choice is also crucial here. Fire-resistant armor is a must when wielding a weapon like this, because the last thing you want is to burn yourself while torching enemies. With that protection in place, the SG-451 Cookout becomes a great addition to a squad loadout focused on handling voteless swarms. It might not solve every problem, but it plays its role well and keeps the firestorm going as part of your best builds to battle the Illuminate. The CB9 Exploding Crossbow is one of those weapons that players keep coming back to because it is just so much fun to use. Even though it is not as devastating against the Illuminate as it can be against other factions, it still earns its spot in your arsenal. Being one-handed gives it a huge advantage for missions where carrying an objective is part of the plan, letting you stay armed without sacrificing your role. On top of that, the exploding bolts can clear out groups of voteless with a single well-placed shot, giving it a surprising amount of crowd control power. One of the biggest perks of the CB9 is how well it fits into city environments. Ammo can be picked up often enough that its small clip becomes much less of a problem, letting you keep firing without worrying too much about running dry. Pairing it with a ballistic or directional shield stratagem makes it even more valuable, since you can combine offensive and defensive capabilities in one neat package. When you need something heavier, full auto support weapons can easily back it up and give you the sustained firepower the crossbow cannot provide. The only real caution here is that the explosion radius is not as generous as you might expect. You can fire near other Helldivers and usually get away with it, but accidents are bound to happen, and acceptable casualties is really just a fancy way of saying you might end up taking out a teammate or two. That said, when used with care, the CB9 Exploding Crossbow is a flexible and stylish addition to your best builds to battle the Illuminate, especially for players who like the mix of utility and destructive fun. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.